You're listening to Scribble Talk, a podcast for bid and proposal professionals. My name is Bhaskar Sundaram, and with my co-host, Ashley Case, we will be sitting down with our industry veterans to share their stories, discuss their career, and learn how to make an impact in the industry. Today's guest is Morgan Anderson. Morgan, CF APMP, is a bids and proposals specialist with more than 8+ years of experience across multiple industries. Most recently, Morgan has consulted for private firms across the DC-metropolitan area to help stand up proposal teams and produce quality winning proposals. Finding value in helping small and emerging business to succeed, Morgan has made it her personal and professional mission to provide counsel to small businesses on how to navigate the federal procurement processes. She offers pro bono consulting to small and minority businesses through webinars and partnerships with local nonprofits. Morgan holds a Master of Science in Marketing, is APMP certified at the foundation level, and was recently recognized as APMP's 2021 class of 40 under 40. She presently serves on the APMP National Capital Area Board of Directors. Morgan lives just outside DC. She enjoys cooking, watercolor painting. It's a goal one day to preserve her family's recipes and design her own cookbook. Wow. Morgan is also an avid gamer and enjoys playing Dungeons and Dragons and strategy board games. That's very strategic. Morgan, welcome to Scribble Talk. Great to have you, Morgan.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Morgan, let's go back to the very beginning. Where were you born? And let's talk about your high school and education.
Okay, sure. So I was born in Midwest. I've kind of bounced from Pittsburgh and like the Cleveland area, but I grew up in the DC area in Silver Spring, Maryland. So Montgomery County girl at heart.
Perfect. So do you have any early memories of growing up in the area?
Yeah, I'll say that I'm really pleased to be from the area. I mean, DC is super diverse. So I've had the opportunity to meet lots of different people just being in the area. And then we have a really kind of rich culture here. You know, we're right down the street from the White House and a lot of really cool stuff. So I think that would be really my best memory for the area.
Wow. That's great. And where did you go for high school and higher education, university?
So I went to high school, Springbrook. Our mascot is the Blue Devil, go Devils. And that's in Montgomery County, Silver Spring. And then for undergrad, I went to Morgan State. I know Morgan went to Morgan. I have heard that joke 1,000 times. But yeah, I studied English, creative writing at Morgan, and I minored in women and gender studies. I was actually part of kind of a collective of students and faculty that helped stand up that program. So now I think it's like an official minor, whereas it wasn't truly an official minor while I was there. But yeah, I went to Morgan State, and then recently I got my master's in marketing, as you mentioned in my wonderful intro, from UMGC, or University of Maryland Global Campus.
Got it. So from English to marketing and major, why?
That's a great question. So I think I started my proposal career supporting the marketing division. And I think only in the last maybe 5 or so years, I've actively seen a shift in people trying to differentiate marketing and business development. So sales and marketing, definitely similar in structure, but they're two different concepts, right? So anyway, at the time, I was interested in kind of, finessing my professional development skills. And I thought, oh, marketing, this just seems natural. And then, 16 credits in, I realized maybe I should have done something else. But I also realized there was just like not a lot of schools that are offering a major in business development or in specifically what we do, So I will say the marketing degree has definitely helped me in terms of working for marketers, like having that technical background, but also it does still apply, even though it's not the true nature of like federal acquisitions, what we're really doing. A lot of those principles are still applicable.
Nice. So from bachelor's to master's, did you remember your very first role or very first job, professional, non-professional?
Yeah. So my first ever job in life was at a store called FYE. I don't know if they exist anymore. Maybe they do, but they used to sell like CDs and little trinkets and stuff and like movie theater snacks. And FYE, it was in Friendship Heights, which is right in DC. I was like 16 and I got that job because one, it was on the red line. I didn't have a car. And then two, a friend of mine, we went to interview for that job like at the same time, back to back, and ended up getting it, and they didn't. I don't know how they felt about that, but oh, and then my first proposal job ever was post undergrad at a small temporary staffing agency in Silver Spring.
Do you remember the very first proposal? What it was? What's your memories of it?
I do vaguely remember my first proposal. I think at the time I didn't realize it was a proposal. I was working, like I said, it was a really small business. I want to say corporate wasn't more than 10 people at the time. And I was I was hired to do account management for NOAA, which is located in Silver Spring, like right near the metro. And they had a temporary staffing contract with them. I don't remember the division now, but I was hired to do account management and just kind of make sure the staff was happy there. And in account management, I realized I probably had a better opportunity of growing the account and responding to these task orders and things that were being released versus like having a presence in front of the client. I was doing a lot of, dressing up nice and thumbs up the client, taking the client out for coffee, but that wasn't really an effective way to grow business. And being that I was an English major and I just had a knack for writing, I started writing responses to task orders. And so my first one ended up being successful, and we were able to grow that by, at the time, just one full-time employee. But in my tenure there, that grew from one to multiple. And I think we probably even double the overall contract size. So my first ever proposal was NOAA related, and it was for staffing.
That's nice. Over the years, you might have done multiple proposals. Morgan, anything comes to mind as memorable, positive, negative, good, bad?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we work so often with proposals. Like, you come to develop a love-hate relationship with a lot of them, especially those it's ones I call like zombie proposals, right? Like they just won't die. You submit them and then post submission, there's another update from the government, even if it's the tiniest, smallest little administrative update. But I hate zombie proposals. I want to be a zombie slayer, zombie proposal slayer, but I will say one that really, really, really just seemed to drag on was it was a large IDIQ response for I think it was DIA. And it was just so big in terms of complexity of response and all the attachments and stuff. So there was like a 1 month capture effort I supported, and then a 2 to 3 month actual proposal development effort. And I timed it like, once I've submitted this, I want to reward myself with a vacation. So I timed it, after this is done, 2 weeks later, I'm going on vacation, like somewhere nice in the woods where I didn't have to worry about it. And we submitted. We submitted kind of early, anticipating a large volume of responses. And I swear to God, as soon as I turned my computer on vacation, I had like a high alert message, like, you must respond to this. And because of how specific those kind of complex, secure requirements can be, only I could submit because I'd already submitted my credentials to the government, blah, blah, blah. So my vacation really was comprised of me staying inside the lodge, kind of working on this demon that will not stay down. We won, so, yay.
That's always a good memory when you win. That's nice. And at what point in your proposal career did you come across APMP?
Yeah, so I had always kind of vaguely been aware of APMP, but I didn't really start actively trying to get more involved as far as educating myself and even involving myself with my local chapter maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I was a member, and then I ended up working with a manager who was also a member and was like, oh, she was on the board and said, you should come to one of our meetings and volunteer. And I did. And I liked it so much and I enjoyed what everyone was doing that I decided to stick around. So now I think this will be my second year on the board with our local chapter, the NCA National Capital Area. But my third year overall, kind of participating as a member.
Nice. I think as you rightly said, becoming a member is one, Morgan, but going ahead and participating at the board and giving back is different. What inspired you to join NCA chapter, and talk us through your colleagues in NCA board and all the contributions the board has done in this past 1-2 years during COVID?
Yeah. So I definitely was inspired to join just because I really wanted to, one, get more visibility into what we're doing, again, to kind of finesse myself professionally. And I will say, I noticed there weren't a lot of people on the board, or even traditionally in the proposal management realm that look like me. I'm always kind of trying to find spaces for African-American people, for African-American women. So I saw that there wasn't any representation there. And I'm like, well, I know there's other proposal managers out there like myself. So why not find a way to not only serve, in a leadership role, but see how I can help support more people like myself into, joining the board or being active with our chapter. And a little bit about our chapter. I mean, APMP NCA, we're the second largest chapter of APMP, which is really exciting. Naturally, we're probably the second largest chapter just because we are so close to the heart of federal business, Washington, DC. So I think that's been really advantageous to kind of be at the action, so to speak. And working with the board, I've had some really great experiences. I think I was really surprised to find out how incredibly relaxed everyone is. I think, proposal management in technical function, like is kind of stuffy, must be compliant, rigid, but everyone I've met so far has been really wonderful, really supportive. I know I'm probably one of the youngest and like up and coming people involved in the board, and everyone's just been really encouraging, and so much so that we, I've gotten everyone's support and everything, and we were able to this year host our first ever virtual Mid-Atlantic conference, which was a huge undertaking, but really successful.
Yes, definitely. And I was glad to play a small role in the in the MCA MAC this year. So that was good. So, again, it's, as you rightly said, representing, the community is not just on the profession, but also where you are from, Morgan. Why is it important to you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that in the current culture, we've kind of seen that there is a need to be more inclusive and diverse. There's a need to hear and see things from different perspectives. And I think that we're even starting to see that more in the work that we're responding to. I'm sure there are proposal folks that have had eyes on a requirement that mentions not just small business participation, but also historically Black college participation and historically underutilized business participation. So industry-wide, we're realizing there's a need to get to help stand up and create pipelines for minorities, and so my personal and professional goal overall is to kind of help support that. I want to create access for more women of color in my field, whether it's through being present in proposal management, whether it's through like a university pathway program with HBCUs, something to help develop, sustainable, diverse, and inclusive plans for folks. So as a graduate of a HBCU, I realize how important these institutions are into kind of producing more like-minded people like me who will go out into the world and say, okay, how can we, really stabilize? How can we, really go out there and make this more accessible for people like ourselves?
Well said, Morgan. Well said. I think that's something really great, and especially for you to join this podcast, even to share that, is something that not many people would do. And we found the same. We realized in the very first, if you go and check back the first 50 episodes that we have done, we asked ourselves the same question: why is it the community, that the wider community is not being part of? We are a small sample of the wider community, right? And then we realized that if we go and check now 140 episodes, there might be maybe 10 people of color.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is not good. I don't know what's the right word.
Yeah. And I think it's just born from, traditionally it is a kind of male dominated, but also white dominated space. Just, I don't know if you've ever watched the show Mad Men, like all the characters there kind of look the same. Now we're seeing in marketing, there's a realm for everyone, because we realize all perspectives need to be taken account for. So same thing in proposal management or business development. I'm sure we'll see a change, but we need to create structures that help to perpetuate that change.
Definitely. It's evident that that you won the 2021 40 Under 40 award as well. You want to share the nomination and the celebrations and the recent BitCon?
Oh yeah, I'm really grateful to have received it. It was a little bit of a surprise because I thought I was gonna do it, and then life kind of picked up and everything. But I was really, really happy to have been a recipient of that award. And then I'm really fortunate because my last name starts with A, so like I was the first face. So if you only watched 30 seconds of the video, you saw me. But yeah, I'm really happy. And then so many people have reached out to me on LinkedIn and want to connect with me, and kind of heard my story and what I've been sharing here about helping some smaller businesses or helping minority businesses. And I've gotten a lot of outreach through my LinkedIn and my socials for people who are interested and probably would have never heard from me had it not been for the 40 Under 40. So super excited to kind of make those connections and see what happens from there. But I wasn't able to attend BPC this year, unfortunately, because I don't know, I'm still kind of paranoid about travel and big events, but I heard it was great. I was like following it like a sad kid watching outside their window while everyone else was playing outside. I was following it on LinkedIn, a little envious that I couldn't go, but next year I'm determined to go out and meet some of the folks.
Yes, definitely, because I kind of missed it because of travel restrictions, as we spoke earlier. But yeah, it's always a place to gather, see colleagues, beyond learning. It gives you a sense of belonging. It's definitely a place to be. But again, time will fly very quickly, and 6 months on, it'll be Dallas. And yeah, we'll see what we do from there.
Yeah, so, maybe it's a. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Yeah, you go ahead.
No. I was just telling you to go ahead. No, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it's a good case study for always having some virtual component at events. If another global crisis happens, I don't think we can any of the economies can afford if we stay home for another year. We're still seeing the repercussions of it, even with some of the supply chain issues that we've been seeing a lot on the news. But like I said, the APMP, we had our first virtual conference, and I don't know if we'll ever do a full virtual again, but I can see most conferences, the benefit in kind of having some hybrid, even if it's like an app or live stream or something. Just a thought.
Definitely. I think, I think from now on, any conference will need to provide a mixed facility. It's like, 100% online. I think people are pretty much fed up with that.
Yeah.
At the same time, where there's a chance, definitely, I think they would love to visit. But sometimes life takes over, since we are working in this proposal timeline, deadline, etc. We might miss at the last minute. But yeah, it just gives few people who are in that gray area, definitely like, okay, I can't go, but I still want to catch up with it. They still need to go. But it's cost versus thing as well, right? You can't, it's not the same. When you go completely virtual, there is a different setup. And when you go completely, face to face, it's a different setup. When you try to do both, I don't think many facilities or tools available to do both at the same time, especially for a much larger scale, like 1,500, 2,000 people that gathers in. But no, in the coming weeks, coming months, definitely there will be some ways, and we'll just see what else is there for us. That's good. So thank you, Morgan. I think we talked about your early life career, APMP proposals, and your awards, NCA. So let's talk a little bit more about you, Morgan. Talk us about 3 things not many people know about you.
Okay, 3 things not many people know about me. So number 1, I used to own a charcuterie business. So I'd make cheese boards for folks. And by folks, probably just my friends and family. Number 2, I'm actually a 4th. So there are 3 other Morgan Andersons before me, which is kind of unique. And number 3, something folks may not know about me. I mentioned that I really like video games. I am entering into my first video game tournament this week. So I am very competitive in all aspects of my life.
Maybe let this be the episode. Now we have a new Scribble Talk talent that's going live next week. So I will request team to get in touch with you, Morgan. Oh. We will talk all about gaming there, because beyond proposal,
there we go.
We'll just go something different. I think it's that hidden talent. But let's just go one step at a time. Okay. This cheese thing. Why cheese? I mean, like, do you like cheese?
Oh, why not? Do I like cheese is like an understatement. I love cheese. Yeah, I like cheese. I like I really just like really making my plates of food very nice. I'm that person where if you go out to eat, I'm going to take a picture of the food. It's so annoying. I'm so sorry. And I didn't know like what to call it before, but after having stayed home for a year and just really gotten a little bit more into social media, I wish I could in another life be like a food stylist. I feel like I'd be really successful there. But yeah, I just I'm creative by nature. I like cheese. The two seem to go hand in hand. Why eat ugly food,
Nice. Well said there. 4 Morgan Andersons in the same family, is it?
Yeah. So I'd be the 4th. So there's 3 others before me.
Oh, wow. And how do you call each other? Morgan?
Yeah. So I'm the only girl. And the rest are all, just my dad, my grandpa, and his father.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So Morgan is that neutral name, is it?
Yeah, it is neutral because you have like like Morgan Freeman. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
name Morgan.
got it. It just struck to me. I think just while I asked that question, I just put Morgan Freeman's image for some reason popped immediately. Don't you know me? And so that's good. Wow, that's good. So at least in a family, one person gets the Morgan name, is it? So you have no choice other than to have one.
Yeah,
one.
I feel like I'll be the combo breaker though. Like if I have a kid, I'm like naming it Charlie or something else.
Oh no. Fine, that's good. Gaming. Okay. At what point or okay, when did you start gaming and what type of games do you play?
Okay, so all of them. I'm a huge nerd. When did I start playing like video games? Um, I wasn't allowed to have a console at home. So one day I went to someone else's house and they had one, and I was like, this is incredible. This is life changing. So I've been gaming probably forever since I was a kid. But more recently, I've started getting into like strategy games. Um, I think when people think of video games, it's like Fortnite and Call of Duty and the popular action ones that you're seeing, or even the classics like Tomb Raider or whatever. But I want to play a really long, boring game of like chess or like Civilization is a really popular game I play where the whole purpose is to build a civilization. There's no, there's nothing else to be done. But I like strategy games because I like to really get immersed in what I'm doing. Even in work, sometimes you just need to truly be immersed in what you're doing to really get into it. And so I like games that require me to use more than just, pounding a button or something, where I have to think several turns ahead of time to strategize my victory. So, but yeah, I love games. And I actually, through my last job, I found a D&D group. And now we've been playing together for, more than a year now, maybe, I think. We started pre-pandemic and then found a way to set up and play virtually. And we have a blast.
Wow. And you did mention that you have a tournament this week. Wish you all the success, and I'm sure listeners will be looking forward to hear your journey.
Oh, thank you. I won't say what game in case there's any players. And you guys are like, oh, how did she do? And you see that I came in like 800th place, but yeah.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about in gaming here, right? Let alone understand what games you play and then how good you are. You are a talent. I will stop there. Don't even think about whether you get the first place or the 800th place. You have to think about people like us who don't even do that sort of things. I wish I do something like this interesting just to keep it going. But yeah, that's good. Wish you all the success on that. Yeah, before we get into the rapid random fire question round or Howard Nut honored Nutters round, one other pointer, just talk about your hobbies and interests. While you're not gaming, you do cooking and watercolor painting.
Oh, yeah, I do. So, like I said, I'm just really creative in all aspects. I felt like I'll just put my favorites are watercolor and cooking. Like I said, I like to make my food look nice. I like to cook, like truly cook. I do love watercolor painting, and I think those two intersect because I like to like pass down or build a legacy for myself or my sister or my family, and do that by kind of recreating some of the recipes we grew up with. Some of the things I remember my grandma, my great grandma making. So been trying to collect them and preserve them and trying to perfect them for next generations. But then I also want to like create my own cookbook, like from scratch. Like I want to paint the pictures and stuff. So I got the idea, as many people have gotten their creative ideas in the pandemic while we were all locked inside. But then I quickly found I cannot paint food. I can paint like flowers and stuff, but it's much harder to paint like a picture of a roast beef. So That's a work in progress. That's like my little personal mission that I've been doing. And then, yeah, just as far as creative things, crafts, I like anything that has an art component to it. Something I recently did with my best friend, we tried out glass blowing, and that was super fun. So now I have a vase that I've created, my own vase sitting on my shelf, and I'd love to go back and do that and really just get my hands messy doing anything that creates something fun like this. Look at this tangible thing that I've made. I can call it my own, my little art baby.
Wow. I would love to really come to your place and then think, how do you structure your time? I mean, like cooking, painting, gaming, working. Unbelievable. That's great. I mean, like you're totally right there, Morgan. I mean, like it's only while you are sharing this, I was wondering about the food that my grandma made. It's completely lost. And
Yeah.
now I don't think, I left my country when I was 21. Now it's been 20 years here in UK. So, even the food that my mother made, which is like 30-40% of what my grandma used to make, is now not available here. So it's much more kind of commoditized, much more like generalized than this is what it is. But, there is some uniqueness into everything. But, it's really great. I'm sure listeners will be thinking about this as well, and then see, hey, what are the other food that's being missed? Because now it's all about what we call, mixing one cuisine.
Oh yeah. Fusion.
Fusion and all nonsense, in which we lost all the classical.
No, I agree. And even I find that some of the food, we have a lot of fusion, which is great, to mix cultures or to see an overlap of flavors and stuff and experiences. But one thing that I'm seeing a lot of that I personally don't trust is, in general, things are trending a lot faster because of social media. You hear a song or a move or a meme or a quote, and it's like everywhere. It's even on the news. Things are trending way more quickly. Even some of these weird food trends, my sister will send them to me like, oh, doesn't this look cool? And I'm like, no, it doesn't seem right technically, but I don't know, maybe I'm a hater, but I'll say the argument is definitely there for just kind of preserving these things, so that we all remember how to properly make pasta, and we don't just continue this new technique that has suddenly been invented, I guess.
Definitely, Morgan. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Morgan, now a rapid random fire question drawn on Nutters round. There is no right or wrong answers. Whatever comes to your mind, let that be the answer.
I'm ready. I feel like I'm on like a game show.
Exactly. So Halloween is around the corner. So if you're attending a Halloween party, what would your costume be and why?
Oh, I already know what it is. So huge nerd, if you couldn't tell. I would personally dress up as someone from the comic books or Marvel. I am actually dressing up as Wanda or Scarlet Witch this year. So if I was having a Halloween party, I'd want everyone to dress up as superheroes.
Wow. Would you still like us to wear our underwear outside for this?
Oh yeah. If you're gonna do it, you need to fully do it and be embarrassed with me.
Got it. We will do it at the right time. Thank you. So I know you like games. So do you remember your favorite games when you were a child?
Yeah. Okay. So one game that I loved as a child, I still really like this game, and no one likes to play with me, is Monopoly. Monopoly lasts a really long time. There's like no end. You have to go bankrupt, but I'm willing to put the time and effort in to play. And I usually win I just out of time. Like folks are like, I give up. Well, then I won by default. So
yeah, that's it. I think you're right. I think these days is the board games that I kind of insist that we play at home, because it's much easy to get stuck in video games, online games, and so on. So So, and Monopoly is right on the time, Saturday, Sunday afternoons. Sometimes it's like Monopoly time for us as a
Yeah.
family. Yeah.
Do you
That's
guys actually get through the game, or does someone give up?
we have this, the advantages or the good news is we don't play the adult game, which is the longest one, right? The children version of the same Monopoly game is not that hectic, Morgan. So you could get through that pretty quickly. Exactly. But my kids are always the opposite. I want to stop, but they want to go on. They want to go on. At least it teaches them the money, bankruptcy, holding money, buying assets and other things. But we'll see. Perfect. So I know we talked about a lot of food, but is there any food that you dislike?
Oh, no, I kind of like everything. No,
Hmm.
there's no, I'm willing to try everything at least once.
Got it. Got it. You also spoke about, you know, going to wear the comic character for
Mhm.
Halloween. Is there any book or a cartoon character or a movie that you consider you're similar to?
Mm. Let's see. If I had to say a character, I have one in mind, but I feel like it's too obscure. So I'm going to say I really like Storm from X-Men. She just seems like so regal and cool, and she really has to be like composed and in control of her emotions because her power is to generate storms. So, imagine if she wasn't, it'd be a really bad day for everyone. So, um,
Mm,
yeah, definitely Storm, I think.
yeah, definitely. Morgan Stone. Sounds great.
Yeah, fly.
It's, I know you like food. So if you are chosen to make a dinner for a very special guest, who will you invite and what will you cook?
Ooh, who will I invite? Hmm, that's a great question. As soon as you said it, the first thing I wanted to say was Beyonce, but now I'm trying to think of a more meaningful guest. She's like a fabulous guest, but um, I would probably invite. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with Beyonce. I mean, honestly, who else would I want at my party? And I would try to make. I would like research all her favorite food to make sure that I had it. Like I really do in real life keep a log of all the things my friends like to eat, all their preferences and allergies and stuff. So when I do host a dinner party, everyone's needs are met. Like we have something for the meat and potatoes, we have something for the person who's allergic to shellfish. So I would do a lot of meticulous planning to make sure I did not mess up Beyonce's dinner.
Mm. And what will you cook?
Oh, damn. I don't, oh, sorry. I'd probably make some soul food, something southern and spicy.
Mm. Nice. So you listen to Beyonce. Is there any other songs in your playlist that you listen to sometimes, most times?
Yeah. So when I'm working, I find that I do a lot of reading, like just kind of not meaningless, but like lots of section L's and section M's and just like contractual reading, not like reading for leisure.
Mm.
And when I'm doing that, I really need to focus. So I tend to listen to a lot of instrumentals or like a classical playlist so that there's no words. So I can totally focus on what I'm reading. So I've been listening lately to a lot of smooth jazz or lo-fi playlists just because it's very mellow, almost like elevator music with a little bit of coolness to it. And then when I'm not working, I listen to truly everything, a mixture of all types of music. I don't think I have a favorite or a one genre that I'm dedicated to.
Nice. So, if you could transport back in time to experience one event from the past, what would you choose and why?
If I could go back into time, I would probably want to go to, and I'm going to say this because I was just watching a movie about it. I'd really want to go to like an old rock and roll concert, like a Jimi Hendrix concert or something. I do miss going to like jam bands and hanging out at bars and stuff pre-pandemic. I think once things get back to normal, I probably won't. I just won't. Maybe I've grown out of it, or I just don't. The energy is different now. I think a lot of going out is, you're not as immersed in the experience because you're like distracted by your phone or your friend, or logistics of getting there, or your Uber coming. But I was watching this kind of jam band documentary thing the other day, and everyone just looked like friends at a party. So if I could go back into time, I'd go to a really cool concert like Woodstock or something.
That's interesting. Do you play any games, the physical games, Morgan?
Like sports?
Uh-huh.
I don't, but I've been trying to convince a friend of mine to get into tennis. Right. She's resistant, but I feel like I've got a good case. Yeah, there's a lot of Black women in tennis that are killing it lately. Obviously, because the Williams sisters were kind of so visible and were killing it for so long. But yeah, I think tennis, you look cool. And you're like polo and your visor, and it seems like a really fun sport. The coordination, I'd love to get into it just to like build on my hand-eye coordination.
Definitely. So if you are suddenly been invited to participate in the Olympics, what sport would you compete?
Well, if I'm suddenly invited, they must have asked me to participate as like the towel girl. So I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah, I'm not a very athletic person. Ideally, if I could compete, I think it'd be cool to do gymnastics. That requires like so much power and like being in tune with your body and your muscles. But I don't know. And the level at which they're competing is really dangerous too. One minor error and you can really hurt yourself and then like really jeopardize your standing. So I'd be really scared.
Got it. So what do you get every time you go grocery shopping?
Every single time I go grocery shopping, I get lemons, like an abundance of lemons. I think it goes with everything. And then maybe something else I always get are dates. I like to put dates in my smoothie. I like to eat them like just as a snack. I think they last for a long time. I think they're really good. Everyone in my life thinks they're weird. Like, look at these dates on your counter. You're never going to eat them, but they're really good for you.
Got it. I know you haven't traveled in a while, but when everything settles down, where would you like to go? What's your favorite place to travel?
Yeah, so I've been to quite a few places, like in the West Caribbean. I went to Thailand with my best friend for her birthday a couple years ago. Pre-pandemic, we went actually. And I would really love to go back to Thailand. I think we had just an incredible experience. For a foodie like myself, I just like to travel and eat. So any place where the food is good, I'd love to go. And we had a great experience out there, kind of trying the various different curries and stuff. And we talked about possibly going to France. I like cheese, and that goes hand in hand with wine. So that'd be really nice. So Thailand, France, or another place we're considering is possibly Vietnam. Again, just really great food out there. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Ghana, a country in West Africa. That's actually where my dad is from. And I've never been there, but I would love to go there. I think we'd have a stupendous time.
Yes, definitely. I'm glad that you already traveled to a few places, and hopefully things settle down. Pack your bags, and definitely you will be there in no time.
Yeah.
So who haven't you spoken in a long time, and you hope that they're doing okay?
I haven't spoken to a former colleague of mine that I used to work with that really kind of gave me the confidence that I needed to go from proposal coordinator to proposal manager. I haven't talked to them in a while. I kind of like stalk them on Instagram, not Instagram, on LinkedIn to see what they're up to. But I don't know, I feel like there's been quite a bit of time to reach out, and I don't want it to be out of the blue. But and maybe since they're in the industry, they're listening to this. But for that person, they really gave me the confidence to stop floating around and take ownership of my career and like guide myself into the role I wanted to be in. I was kind of tired of proposal coordinating, and I really wanted to have my hands on the actual document a little bit more. So they gave me some really great advice, and maybe now I will reach out to them and not feel weird about it since we've talked about it.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a rapid random fire question, Ron. We kept it slightly light for you, Morgan. Hope you enjoyed it. So let's go back to the gratitude round and the final few questions. So who are the people who have been the most influential in your life and career?
Yeah. So my grandma, definitely. I think my grandma and the women of my family just really had a terrific work ethic. My grandma worked up until she passed as a tailor for various places. She was really always busy around like prom time when the kids were getting their tuxedos and stuff. So I think my grandma is definitely one of the most influential people in my life. I think she taught me to not be not to react as much. I think I'm a very reactionary person. I think that I even see that coming out when I'm working with proposals. The proposal comes out, the first thing I want to do is, put the templates and schedule dates, all that stuff. But, there's a lot of importance in kind of being proactive, trying to like stop, to assess the situation before reacting, try to evaluate your decisions before you hop on it, and, proactively responding to situations in that way, requires you to be a little bit more resilient. So in that way, my grandma has been the most influential in my life, and just kind of those little nuggets that she's given me and how they've helped in my career. Oh, and my second influence is my best friend, because she's just super laser focused on all her goals. I've never seen a person in life ever just focus on their goals. Like, I think we all have goals, and the path to success is lateral, or sometimes it dips, but that girl is truly just a rock star. So we worked together at our first job. We both came up from the staffing agency I was mentioning earlier. So we just like saw each other kind of like struggle and scrabble to the top, but it's been really rewarding kind of growing professionally alongside her.
Right, brilliant. I'm glad that you are so blessed with that friend, and also with the family around you, Morgan. What is one personal trait you like the most about yourself?
I think I'm really resilient. I think that resilience is bred from experience. So I think that I've got the ability to kind of adapt to things. I used to not like using the term resilient because it felt like you're so capable of handling stuff, but I don't mind it now, because it doesn't mean that you're tough or strong or durable in a negative way. It means that you know that you can withstand, or you can weather whatever storm is coming.
Perfect. So you have been in the proposal industry for close to 8-9 years now, Morgan. What's that one common myth about our profession that you want to debunk?
A common myth about our profession that I want to debunk is that doing one task is easy. So let me explain. A proposal is released and you have a manager that says, okay, we'll stand it up and schedule the kickoff. That sounds easy. Like, it sounds like, sure, I'll shred this and get to it. I think the myth that I'm trying to describe here is very often at a high level, we don't see all the various components that go into completing a single task. Sometimes to have the kickoff with external partners, you have to make sure TAs or teaming agreements are signed. So that requires correspondence with contracts. You have to obviously stand up all those artifacts and templates. So that requires some downtime for the proposal coordinator to actually get to it. You have these various things that you need to do that sound like, oh, we can do that in a snap. But again, you really need like that deep focus time to actually be able to do your own job and then coordinate other aspects of the job. So the myth is there's no easy task in proposal management, and I'm hoping that people can kind of open their eyes and see this. I'm seeing, managers and leaders are starting to realize, the very important time management aspects that goes into it from the proposal level. Can we even resource our proposal team to respond to this, or is our proposal manager drowning in 15 different responses? So
100% Morgan, that's a well said point. We'll see how far we are going to go from here. So what's the best piece of advice you have received and from whom?
Yeah, so the best piece of advice I received is probably just to mind your business. It sounds mean, but I do mean it through like all aspects of your life. Just mind your business, because it'll save you a lot of stress when you realize you can't control factors outside of yourself. Even when it comes to proposal things, sometimes, I've been in a case where maybe I didn't think that the team was strong, or there was something that I didn't think we were doing best. But, if it's an argument that can't be won, or something that really isn't in my, something in my responsibility, I just have to kind of let it go. Unless it's going to like jeopardize some battles, you just have to let go. Why stress over it?
Yeah, simple advice, but very profound one, definitely. So what's the one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
Start the compliance matrix as early as possible. Do not wait.
Yeah, short and sharp, Morgan. Nice. So Morgan, we talked about your passion, your interest, your APMP, your proposal career, family, personal, everything. What's next for you? What are you looking forward to in future?
Yeah. So like I mentioned before, I'm really focused on making business development and proposal management more accessible for people who look like me. So more women of color, and specifically African American women. Just finding ways, however, to inform folks of the field, because I don't think that there's a lot of people who know business development or proposal management. I'm still constantly kind of like defining what that means. So I know that we have room to grow as far as awareness and inclusivity. So I guess career-wise, I want to continue to sharpen my skills as a manager. I did get my APMP foundation level cert this year, and I'm looking forward to studying for the next certification level, whenever that may be. I'm always kind of looking for new ways to improve myself, new tricks I can bring into my own process. That's really fun, kind of getting away from maybe a staler way of doing things. And then I've also kind of toyed with the idea of possibly moving to another country. Now that most of us are working remotely for probably the foreseeable future, that's a possibility now, as long as I can work within that time zone. So, but it'd be really cool to move somewhere else and join that local APMP chapter and like discover more about international procurement practices, or even learn how to bridge some connections between foreign companies and federal business. So that'd be really exciting to do.
100%, Morgan, 100%. I'm glad that you're considering move. Wish you all the success with that. Is there any part of your life or career, or is there anything else you could say as a closing comment, Morgan?
Yeah. So one, thank you very much for having me. This has been so excited. I've listened to this. I've always kind of wanted to have a podcast for our industry. So I guess the gem that I want to leave as a takeaway is, I will say two, one, whatever your goal is in life, pursue it with great urgency, or it'll always be far away. Put your personal goals, act like they're proposals, because if you don't set a deadline for them, you'll constantly miss it. And my second takeaway is fake it until you make it. Be confident in everything you do. I think that's a really real concept. You won't believe how many kickoff meetings I've kicked off and I don't really know what's happening. I don't know anything about this technical thing, but I'm going to fake it until I make it. And, I think that energy is, people can sense that energy. And, once you do make it, people will trust that you're confident in your abilities, but they won't ever doubt you.
That's a nice advice, Morgan. Thank you so much for joining Scribble Talk. Great parting comment. It's been an absolute privilege to have you with us here. Wish you, your family, your colleagues, everybody you touch, all the good health and happiness on behalf of Ashley. Please to continue to inspire bid and proposal industry colleagues and all the pro bono work that you do, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep doing your hobbies and interests, and good luck with the games.
Yes, thank you so much. And please, if anyone listening would like to connect on how we can help support small businesses trying to get better at doing this thing, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Morgan Anderson. There's 1,000 of me on LinkedIn. 4 of them are related to me, but you'll find me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Take care.
To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Please visit batchyscribble.com/podcast to listen to this episode and check out any of our other previously recorded episodes. If you've enjoyed today's interview, don't forget to subscribe, review, and share the Scribble Talk podcast. We hope you'll check out our next episode where we interview another industry expert and special guest. Until then, it's Ashley Kays,
Bhaskar Sundram,
signing off.